Right now, Arsenal Football Club is in the middle of one of the most significant summers in their recent history. The Premier League title is won, the celebrations have happened. But the real work, the work that determines whether this club can truly dominate English football and challenge at the highest level in Europe, that work is happening right now in boardrooms, on phones, and in quiet conversations between agents and directors. What you are watching unfold this summer is not just a transfer window, it is a statement of intent. And the decisions being made in the next few weeks will define Arsenal for the next 3 to 5 years. So let us get straight into it, because there is a lot to break down. Arsenal have just won the Premier League. That is confirmed. The title race is over and the Gunners are champions. But winning the league and staying at the top are two completely different challenges. The Champions League final told a painful story. Arsenal went toe-to-toe with the best team in the world, pushed them all the way to a penalty shootout, and still came home without the trophy. England manager Thomas Tuchel said it himself. He said they went toe-to-toe with the best team in the world at the moment. He said they made them go the full length to a penalty shootout. He called it as close as it can get. That is a compliment. But it is also a reminder. Close is not enough when you are Arsenal. The squad needs reinforcing, gaps need filling, and the club cannot afford to stand still while the rest of Europe reloads. If you want this kind of deep and detailed analysis every single day, hit that subscribe button right now. Tessa Arsenal Analysis brings you the full picture, not just the headlines. Subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss a breakdown like this one. Let us go through everything. Julian Alvarez, the complicated reality. Let us start with Julian Alvarez because this one has captured a lot of attention. BBC Match of the Day reported that Alvarez has reportedly made his feelings clear about a potential move to Arsenal. That sounds promising on the surface, but when you dig a little deeper, the situation becomes far more complicated. The reality is this. Arsenal are said to be the only realistic destination for Alvarez if he does leave Atletico Madrid this summer. On paper, that sounds like a strong position for the club to be in. But here is where it gets difficult. Alvarez is not pushing to leave. He is not forcing a move to North London. The Argentine forward is understood to prefer Barcelona. And critically, he is unwilling to force an exit from Atletico Madrid. So what does that mean in practical terms? It means that as things stand, the most likely outcome is Julian Alvarez staying at Atletico Madrid next season. Arsenal may be the only realistic option if he goes. But right now, he does not appear to want to go anywhere. Certainly not to Arsenal. This is an important distinction that a lot of people are missing in this story. Being the only realistic option does not mean a transfer is happening. It simply means that if circumstances change, if Barcelona cannot make a deal happen, and if Alvarez decides he wants a new challenge, then Arsenal are the club positioned to benefit. The situation is one of wait and see. Arsenal cannot force this. And based on everything that is known right now, the smart money is on Alvarez staying in Madrid. Bradley Barcola. £112 million. Is it worth it? Now let us talk about Bradley Barcola, because this is a story with real financial weight behind it. Fabrizio Romano confirmed that Arsenal are among the clubs keeping a close eye on the Paris Saint-Germain winger. Liverpool and one other club are also said to be interested. Barcola's contract at Paris Saint-Germain runs until 2028, and talks over an extension have been dragging on for 2 years. That is a significant detail. When contract talks stall for that long, it usually means one of two things. Either the player is waiting to see if a better offer comes from elsewhere, or the club and player cannot agree on terms. Either way, it creates a window of opportunity. But here is where Arsenal fans need to pump the brakes slightly. If Paris Saint-Germain decide to sell, they are expected to demand a fee in the region of €130 million, which translates to £112 million. That would make Barcola the most expensive signing in Arsenal's history. Now think about what that actually means. £112 million for a player who, and this is a confirmed fact, was not even a guaranteed starter at Paris Saint-Germain. He contributed 13 goals and 5 assists across League One and the Champions League last season. Decent numbers. But he also came on as a substitute in the Champions League final against Arsenal, which means he was not Enrique's first choice in the biggest game of the season. The evidence suggests Arsenal's recruitment team, led by Andrea Berta, would need to be absolutely certain before committing that kind of money. Berta has been described as smart and ruthless in the transfer market. Spending £112 million on a player who cannot guarantee a starting place at his current club would be the exact opposite of that approach. There is also a Morgan Rogers comparison worth making here. Rogers is Premier League proven, reportedly has comparable or better numbers, and is available for around £80 million. That is £32 million cheaper than Barcola. For a club that has been disciplined in its transfer strategy, that difference matters enormously. The verdict on Barcola at that price is probably no, and the evidence supports that conclusion. Gabriel Martinelli, Bayern Munich's interest and what it actually means. This one is very interesting and deserves careful analysis. Bayern Munich have been linked with Gabriel Martinelli ahead of the summer window. Arsenal News Hub reported that the Bundesliga champions are monitoring the Brazilian closely as they assess options for their attack. But then Arsenal Buzz added critical detail from a source close to Bayern Munich that completely changes how we should view this story. The source confirmed that Martinelli has been on Bayern's list since Thomas Tuchel was in charge at Munich. But here is the key sentence. The source said, and I want to be clear, this is being read from confirmed reporting, that Martinelli is not a player for the first 11 at Bayern Munich. They are looking for a backup option. The suggested price is around €45 million, which is approximately £38.9 million. There is more. Bayern Munich's current approach, after a transfer deal for another player fell through, is to focus on players who do not have such a big name. They want to develop a player in the left-wing position. The source concluded by saying they are not sure Martinelli would be overjoyed at that prospect. So let us be honest about what this story really is. Bayern Munich are interested in Martinelli, but they see him as a squad player, not a starter. They want him as a backup option, not a key figure. And they are not sure he would even be happy with that role. For Arsenal, the question is simple. Do they want to sell one of their attackers to a club that sees him as a backup? That depends entirely on whether Martinelli himself wants to leave and whether Arsenal receive an offer they consider fair. At £38.9 million, that valuation feels quite low for a Premier League champion winger. This story is very much at the rumour stage. Nothing is close, nothing is advanced. But it is worth monitoring carefully. Raphael Leao offered to Arsenal at £43 million, but is he the right profile? Raphael Leao has made his ambitions very clear. Fabrizio Romano published his direct words. Leao said he wants a new challenge outside of Serie A. He said he follows the Premier League with great attention. He said if he has the opportunity to play there or in La Liga, he would be really happy because his talent would be better appreciated. Strong words, clear ambition, the door is open. And according to AFC Newsroom, citing Gary Jacob, Leao has been formally offered to Arsenal for a fee in the region of €50 million, which is approximately £43 million. That is a relatively accessible fee compared to some of the other names being discussed this summer. But here is where the analysis gets interesting. The fact that he has been offered to Arsenal does not mean Arsenal are chasing him. Being offered a player and actively pursuing a player are two very different things. Arsenal are confirmed to be exploring options for a new left winger this summer. The question being asked internally, and it is a valid one, is whether Leao actually fits the specific profile they are looking for. That question has not been answered publicly, but it tells you something that Arsenal have not moved quickly on Leao despite the attractive price tag. The club appears to be selective. They are not simply buying because a player is available or because the fee is reasonable. They want the right player for the right role in their system. Leao's future is genuinely open this summer. He wants to move. The price is known. Whether Arsenal decide he is the answer to their left-wing question remains to be seen. Eli Junior Krooppy, the name every Arsenal fan needs to know. Now let us talk about Eli Junior Krooppy, and this one carries real weight because there is a personal connection that adds credibility to the assessment. Krooppy is 19 years old. He plays for Bournemouth. This past season, he broke the Premier League record for goals scored by a teenager in a debut season, netting 13 times. 13 Premier League goals as a teenager in his first season. That is an extraordinary return. His final goal of the campaign was a stunning finish against Manchester City. And that goal, that specific moment, was what officially handed Arsenal the Premier League title. So Arsenal know exactly what he is capable of. They watched him win them the championship. Now, former Arsenal striker Jeremy Aliadière has personal knowledge of Krooppy that goes beyond football statistics. Aliadière knows Krooppy's father from his time at Lorient, where Krooppy Sr. also played. Aliadière described the young forward as a fantastic player. He noted there was talk of Krooppy potentially earning a call-up to the French national squad, which at 19 years old is a remarkable level of recognition. But here is what makes Aliadière's assessment particularly valuable from an analyst's perspective. He explained that Krooppy is not a traditional number 9. He is a forward in the broader sense. He can play behind Victor Gyökeres, he can operate behind Kai Havertz, he can play on the wing, cutting in from the left side onto his stronger right foot. Aliadière said he has shown the whole package this season. That versatility is enormous. Arsenal's current attacking structure already has Victor Gyökeres and Kai Havertz as central options. Gabriel Jesus is expected to be sold, though his high wages could complicate that process. Krooppy could slot into multiple positions within Arteta's system. But Aliadière was honest about the chances of a deal happening. He said he personally does not think Arsenal will buy Krooppy without first selling someone. Whether that means Kai Havertz departs or another player makes way is unclear right now. But the message is direct. A sale needs to happen first before Arsenal can move for Krooppy. The conclusion is clear. Krooppy is the right kind of signing. Young, versatile, Premier League proven, and already linked to this title-winning moment. But the deal depends on Arsenal moving someone on first. Ethan Nwaneri, a loan move and Newcastle's interest. This is a story that will concern a portion of the Arsenal fan base. Arsenal Radar reported, citing Transfer Checker, that Newcastle United have moved ahead in the race to sign Ethan Nwaneri on loan. Nwaneri is 19 years old. He is keen on regular first-team football next season, and Arsenal are said to be open to another temporary loan move for him. The word another is important. This suggests Nwaneri has already spent time away from the club on loan previously. The situation is straightforward. Nwaneri is a talented young player who needs consistent minutes to develop. Arsenal's first team is stacked with quality, which means opportunities are limited. A loan move makes sense from a development perspective. Newcastle United appear to be the front-runners to secure that deal. This is not alarming news. This is sensible squad management. A loan is not a sale. But Arsenal will want to ensure Nwaneri goes somewhere he gets meaningful minutes and proper development, not just a name on a squad list. Emmanuel Mbemba, a long-term investment. Arsenal Radar reported that Arsenal are monitoring 18-year-old PSG youth defender Emmanuel Mbemba. The plan appears to be a loan pathway first, with a view to a permanent move later. This is the kind of low-risk, high-potential recruitment that suggests Arsenal are thinking about their defensive depth, not just for now, but for the next several years. Mbemba is expected to leave Paris Saint-Germain. Arsenal are in the picture, but this is very much at an early stage. Nothing is close here. But it shows the club is thinking strategically about developing the next generation of defensive talent. Sandro Tonali, a genuine interest with no rush. Arsenal Radar confirmed, citing Fabrizio Romano, that Arsenal hold genuine interest in Sandro Tonali. The Newcastle United midfielder is highly rated by the club's football staff. Contact has been made with people close to the player. However, and this is an important qualifier, there are no advanced talks. There have been no official bids. This is interest at the assessment stage. Arsenal are doing their due diligence and keeping the door open for a future deal. Tonali is a Premier League proven midfielder of high quality. The interest makes sense given Arsenal's desire to continue strengthening their engine room. But this story is not at a stage where a deal is imminent. It is worth watching. It is not worth getting carried away about yet. Leandro Trossard, keeping his options open. Leandro Trossard was asked directly about his future. His answer was precise and non-committal. He said that at the moment he is still an Arsenal player and that he will see what happens in the summer. That kind of answer from a player in the final phase of a contract, or one being linked with other clubs, usually signals that conversations are happening in the background. He is not ruling out a move. He is not demanding one either. He is waiting to see how the summer develops. For Arsenal, Trossard's future matters because it connects to the left-wing question. If he leaves, the need for a replacement becomes urgent. If he stays, it changes the calculus on whether a big money signing like Barcola is truly necessary. The Champions League group stage draw. Pot 1. High difficulty ahead. Arsenal will be in Pot 1 for the 2025-26 Champions League phase draw. That is where they belong as Premier League champions. They will share Pot 1 with the likes of Paris Saint-Germain, Real Madrid, Bayern Munich, Manchester City and others. Under the current format, Arsenal will face 2 teams from Pot 1, 2 from Pot 2, which includes clubs like Borussia Dortmund and Manchester United, 2 from Pot 3 and 2 from Pot 4. Rules also prevent Arsenal from being drawn against more than 2 clubs from the same country in the league phase. The official draw is set for August 26th. The final composition of the pots will be confirmed after the qualifying playoffs. This confirms that Arsenal will face another brutal group stage. Going one step further than a penalty shootout defeat in the final will require not just a stronger squad, but flawless preparation and depth across the board. The transfer window is not just about ambition. It is about survival at the highest level. Thomas Tuchel's words. Context and respect. England manager Thomas Tuchel spoke about Arsenal's Champions League final defeat with clear respect. He acknowledged that the players who were in that final, specifically Declan Rice, Bukayo Saka, Eberechi Eze and Noni Madueke, had every reason to feel proud. He said he had not spoken to them immediately after because they had a lot of messages and had spoken to many people. He gave them space. He noted they can be proud of what they achieved. He specifically referenced the Premier League title as the big target, the main target, and confirmed it was achieved. He also addressed the Champions League defeat directly. He said there is no need to be overly disappointed. He expressed confidence that lifting the players ahead of England duty would not be an issue. He said he saw pictures and heard messages suggesting they are happy and in good spirits. This is important context. The players who went through that final are professionals. They are champions. And they are already refocused. That mental resilience matters heading into a summer of international football and then straight back into pre-season preparation. Final analysis. What does all of this tell us? Standing back and looking at the full picture, what emerges is a club in transition at the very top of the game. Arsenal are Premier League champions. They reached a Champions League final, they have a manager trusted by the club and a recruitment team that has been praised for its discipline and intelligence. But the summer brings real questions that need real answers. The left-wing position is unsettled with Trossard uncertain about his future and multiple names being considered including Barcola, Leao and potentially others. The striker situation is complicated with Krooppy being the most exciting option but dependent on a sale being completed first. Julian Alvarez appears unlikely to arrive based on current indications. And midfield recruitment in the form of Tonali is being monitored but is not yet close. The reality for the club is that every decision made this summer carries weight. Arsenal are not rebuilding. They are not a project. They are champions who need to reload intelligently and strike at exactly the right targets. The evidence suggests the club understands that. Now it is about execution. This is going to be one of the most important transfer windows in Arsenal's recent history. And Tessa Arsenal Analysis will be here for every step of it. If you found this breakdown valuable, subscribe to the channel right now, hit the like button, leave a comment below telling me which transfer you think Arsenal absolutely must make this summer. Is it Krooppy, is it Tonali, or is there someone else entirely? The window is open, the decisions are coming, stay with us.